Well, it's time to start thinking about taxes, but you don't have to navigate them alone. Whether you own your own business or work a few part-time jobs, if you have a complex tax situation, it is a good idea to ask for help. And joining us this morning with some advice on that is Simone, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Okay, it's not the sexiest subject, but very important. Taxes. We ought to do them. First thing we should do, review credentials.
Absolutely. I mean, if you are expecting that your taxes are going to be quite complicated, or potentially you're going to require some sort of, maybe even an audit, you really need to make sure that who you can deal with can take you through to the end. So you might want to look for someone who is a chartered professional accountant or a CPA, or if you're going to end up in court, you might even need a tax attorney. People who just do sort of basic type work, they don't necessarily have the same type of credentials. So you've got to just ask some questions to ask, what kind of college or education do you have to do what you do, and how do you stay fresh on changes?
So many options out there, too. It could get daunting in terms of the services offered out there online. How do we vet this?
Well, I mean, obviously, I would say come to the BBB. One of the things we do is provide information on businesses, so you can see what kind of track record they have, how long they've been in operation, etc. If you are looking to deal with an attorney or a chartered professional accountant, then I would make sure that they are indeed who they say they are, and check with those two organizations, the Law Society or the CPA.
Should we also be considering a tax preparer's availability?
Absolutely. I mean, some companies pop up for tax time, and then after tax time, they may not be there if for example, you need some support if, the dreaded audit does happen.
Fees. How do fees work, and should you be upfront in terms of asking how much it's going to cost?
I would say it's so important to get a written contract that answers that specific question. I mean, you really need to understand what you're paying for and what does happen if there's a mistake made, or if some aftercare is needed. So who's paying for that? And so having a written contract that outlines that, including those fees, are important. And then that allows you to shop around.
Can there be a lot of hidden fees when it comes to getting your taxes done?
Well, it's more like the things that are unexpected, right? So, for example, you fill out your taxes, then you find out that there was a piece of information that was missing, and now you need to make an adjustment. Is that considered part of your original agreement or not? And so it's having that contract to help you understand that.
At what point should you maybe consider starting to look at someone else?
Well, I'd say, first of all, if your gut instinct is telling you something's not right, if you can't confirm the credentials, if you can't find them registered and you're thinking they're a CPA but they're not listed with the Chartered Professional Accountants Association, or really just you're finding negative information and they're not responsive to you, that tells you you should find someone else who can support your needs.
Do you see a lot of scams this time of year, tax time?
Tax time is a good time for scams, so we definitely see a rise in impersonation type scams where they say you're from the CRA, or that they need you to, you've got a refund owing to you. So, I mean, obviously, phishing scams and impersonation scams really just ramp up.
You get those texts, it seems like, right?
Texts and calls, and so just a reminder, the CRA is never going to send you an email like that. They're never going to show up your door and demand payment. They're never going to ask you to pay by Bitcoin. If you get anything like that, report it.
Excellent information as usual, Simone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.